Hello and welcome to Beyond the Lights, Football Across Texas, where we're talking football in towns with head coaches across the state. I'm your host, Brandon Brown, retired football coach and AD, and I'm glad you could join us today at this week's stop in the Lone Star State as we meet one more coach and one more town that make up the world of Texas high school football.
Favorite run play, I like ISO.
Power. You got to run the power.
Run the picket fence.
So I was hung up at the crow's nest.
My grandfather was the first African-American running back to be All-State.
I was 19 right about the time and went to a church revival and got saved. And that path changed my life. It's about going in there and changing lives.
Mudita, which is finding joy or happiness in others' success.
Now, I got a funny story on this.
Oh, those guys grew up on beans and cornbread. And, I grew up on McDonald's and bologna sandwiches, a little better deal.
Yeah.
I'd like to play the flute, Dad.
It ain't all right either. You're editing, but go ahead.
So if I tell you too much more, I have to kill you?
Hello and welcome to episode 27. I'm back to my normal episodes again after completing our 5-part series on recruiting. So if you missed those episodes and you're kind of curious what college coaches are thinking about in the recruiting process, make sure and go back and listen to the last few episodes. Now today I'm at my wife's alma mater, Conroe High School, home of the Tigers. And I'm here with head football coach and athletic director Cedric Hardeman. Coach, how you doing today?
Good. How's it going?
Pretty good. I have not been up here since y'all started all the renovations and everything else.
No, it's a lot of change. We're in the process of a 5-phase renovation right now, and I think we're in phase 4 of it.
Okay.
It's supposed to be completed hopefully the spring of 27. And so it's a lot of great things going on. It's change is always difficult. When you start tearing down buildings that have been up for years and you have memories and things like that. But it's a good thing, and we're excited about it.
Now, how many schools are in Conroe ISD now? How many high schools?
There's 6 high schools in Conroe ISD, and then the fall of 2027, they'll open up the 7th one.
Okay, so you got Conroe High School, y'all. You got the Woodlands. You got McCullough.
McCullough used to be the Woodlands. So you have Conroe High School. You have the Woodlands. You have Oak Ridge. You have Grand Oaks.
That's one I've never heard of. Grand Oaks?
Grand Oaks is the newer of the school. You got Canyon Creek High School. And then,
I didn't know that was part of Conroe.
And you have College Park High School.
Okay, now is College Park brand new?
No.
It's been around a while?
Yeah, it's been
I've heard of it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Coach, let's just start. Tell us a little about yourself, where you grew up, what you've done that kind of got you to this point in your life, and kind of what got you into coaching.
I've been coaching since 2010. I was born in Houston, Texas. My dad played for the Oilers. He was a first-round draft pick in 1975 for the Oilers. Played running back. Came out of Texas.
Oh, so he played in the backfield when Campbell was there. Then
he got traded when Campbell came in. Campbell came in '78.
Okay.
Yeah. So him and Brazil was drafted the same year. He was, matter of fact, the second running back taken. It was Walter Payton, and then my dad was drafted.
Oh, awesome.
It's pretty cool. I got clippings from Chicago newspaper with them contemplating on which running back to take between my dad or Walter Payton. So it's pretty cool.
That is awesome.
And he played with different teams, played at Tampa, played for the Colts when it was in Baltimore. The last team he played for was with the Saints in New Orleans. So when my mom and dad separated, divorced, that's where my younger brother and I, we moved back to Houston with my mom. And so moved to Southwest Houston area, A-Leaf, to be a little bit more specific on it. And I went to school there, junior high school, and then got an opportunity to play college football at University of Houston. While I was at the University of Houston, my spring semester, my freshman year, my son was born. And so I had my son. I was a teenage dad and still playing ball and taking classes. And it was the best thing that happened because, it allowed me to get a perspective as a dad early on. It was tough, but a lot of the best decisions I've made in my life career-wise and just in general has been because of him. And so any success I've had even now, I've had, just in thinking about that. And so had him.
Now what does he do now?
Chris is a director of he was a director of new club openings for Fitness Connection.
Oh, cool.
So he traveled around and opened up all their new gyms, and from build out all the way to store.
All right.
And then, to hiring and all that. Then they will fly him, and then he's stationed at another spot, doing that at another city. So just recently they brought him back to Houston. So he's managing about half the gyms here in the Houston area. So yeah, it's a true blessing.
He stays busy. He's all over the place.
Yeah, he stays busy, man. As a matter of fact, he turns 29 tomorrow. So
cool.
Yeah.
Well, early happy birthday to him.
Yep. And so did that, went into business after school. I just knew that the opportunity to go play. Everybody had that dream, play ball. I just wanted to be successful at the time. My goal was to be able to afford a house and have a backyard for my son, and so went into business, was in sales, did territory sales, sold everything from lottery to tobacco, worked for a tobacco company, and then I went and sold an advertisement, and I worked for the Houston Chronicle, and I sold ads there, and then I got an opportunity to work for a company called Houston Community Newspaper, which is a smaller paper, as an ad director, and so I did that, and then the cost of print started to go up, but my bottom line wasn't matching. So I started to see the trend of newspapers, and I went into digital, and I worked for a company where we built websites and did SEO, SEM, small, medium-sized companies. But my passion was always wanting to coach. Man, I had nonprofits where I was helping out kids, and I was coaching 7-on-7s, down in the area. And so March 1st, 2010, I never forget, was the day I decided I was going to coach.
Well, I'll be honest, Coach. When I look at you, I don't see salesperson in an office.
Well, I was outside, but the thing I love about actually being in business was the manager aspect of it. I managed a team of 12, and I realized my passion was always to try to help people, find out what their goals are and help them achieve their goals. And so the decision for me to get out of business and get into coaching was because company-wise, locally we were doing well, but company-wise we weren't doing well. And the area vice president flew down and took me and my manager out to lunch, and he kind of talked about the restructuring things and how I was going to be back in the field, and it just wasn't. I think it was the push that I needed from God to actually have me do exactly what He called me to do. And so I remember going to my wife, who she had just gotten counseling at the time from a teacher, and I said, "Hey, I think I want to coach," And to her credit, it was a huge pay cut, but she said, "All right, this is what you want to do?" And I said, "Yeah." And so, I wasn't worried about making money, just kind of find ways to do that residually, but just follow my passion, man. It was March 1st, 2010, and honestly, like I said, I feel like I really hadn't worked a day since. It's been real cool.
Well, your business part was God training you for this business that you're running now, because now you got hundreds of people that you're responsible for. So that's cool.
I 100% believe in that. We use the David and Goliath type of parable in a lot of things that we talk here. But one of the parables that we use it for is that David, in fighting Goliath, knew that God gave him everything that he needed in that moment in order to be successful. And it was the skill and everything that God had brought him through up to that point. That's all he needed. And so it's kind of like here, you go through situations and you're being brought through situations, I feel like, because God is preparing you for ultimately what He has in store for you. And so in that situation, I use a lot of the things I learned in business and the experiences, and to be able to relate and to be able to deal with certain things, and sometimes have an appreciation. Oftentimes, in education, there's a level of kind of entitlement and kind of comfort ability to have, and when you come from business where you can have one bad month and it can be gone, it gives you that appreciation of hey, okay, I got to come to work, I got to prove myself every time. And I think so having that foundation has kind of helped me every day and build what we need to build.
Now speaking of David, have you watched that new series that started, House of David?
No, I haven't.
It's actually really good.
Really?
And it's obviously they took some dramatic license, here and there to add some things, but I haven't really seen anything that's like necessarily contradictory.
I'm about to look that up.
It's pretty good. It just started 2 weeks ago, maybe.
Okay. No,
so there's only a few episodes out, but they haven't got to the David and Goliath part yet.
Okay.
But Yeah, but so far it's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm going to have to look it up. I mean, we use a lot. It's a term that my assistant coordinator, Tamisha Houston, she says, like, I'll talk about it. So she says, finding your David. We talk about that a lot, about that's what kind of separates us at Conroe High School and all our sports. We try to make sure that we find what God has given us and maybe the perceived disadvantage, use it as our advantage, things that we could control. So, anytime that we get in a position where we have a bad streak or things like that, we got to go back and find our David, and kind of find what we've been given and kind of lock in on that, to help us be successful. So,
yeah. Oh, that's good stuff.
Yep.
All right, now, tell me about your daughter. You and I were talking about her earlier.
Yeah.
She just, congratulations to her for
Appreciate it.
She's going to
Alabama.
run track at Alabama.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. No, it's cool. I'm a girl dad, man. I'm she's only been running since 8th grade. So this is all kind of new. She was a dancer, so I was a dance dad back in the day.
Oh.
But I mean, she had natural, a talent and ability, in that my wife ran at Rice, and so it's been cool, And I coach my son in ball, but this, because the seasons is different, gives me opportunities in the spring to kind of still be dad. It's unique because girls are different, and I know how I was on my son. And then my son, he sometimes get on me. He was like, you would never let me get away with that.
God, I hear that all the time.
And I tell him, I said, look, I get it. And sometimes, it was good. I got to check myself. But my approach with her, there's only been maybe 2 occasions so far where I had to go into coach mode, to kind of snap her out of it one time. And, and I was nervous as I don't know what after I did it. And it worked, and we still laugh at it to this point, And my wife, after I talked to her, she was like, how'd it go? And I'm like, either she's going to run really good or this is about to be really bad, And she wound up running really good and making it to state. So it worked out good. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That is good. Yeah, well, congrats to her. That's awesome. Let's see. Tell me, what is something about your job that you wish people knew that they don't? People from the outside looking in at you as an athletic director, as a head football coach, and that they're questioning, well, why are they doing that? Why are they doing? And you're like, God, you just don't know what we have to deal with such and such.
I can say for me personally, is that we really, really, really do care about our kids. I think oftentimes parents and people from the outside, because of social media, looks at the relationship as transactional. In regards to, they feel like their value is only placed upon what he or she can do on the field or on the track, on the diamond or whatever. But I can say for myself and the staff that I have, we really care about them. And the hard part when you care about somebody is disappointing them. And we know that all the kids have aspirations and they have dreams and they have things that they want, but everybody can't start. Everybody can't play all the minutes. Everybody can't, and so when you have to make those decisions that's best for the organization, even though we know it's best, it still bothers us, because we don't want to disappoint our kids.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the part, because I think parents, whenever we make these decisions, they feel like that is, or you're wrong, which is, I understand. I'm a parent. I get it. You're trying to advocate for your kid. Everybody feel like their kid is the best. And as a parent, you don't want to see your kid disappointed. So oftentimes that's what you're really fighting for, not so much the decision. But I think that, I don't think people really understand how much we have to navigate through that, in regards to the decisions that we do make. And it's tough. At times it's tough.
I keep having parents that come to me, that think their kid's a D1 kid, and it's like, okay, if you're at a 3A school and your kid's D1, it's going to be like, the Brooks kid at Shiner, where everybody knows he's special, and it's just, hey, look, we want you to keep working hard. We want to keep you positive, keep you motivated. And yes, if that's your goal, we're going to work as hard as we can to achieve that. But
yes,
but you run a 4.8,
right,
and you're a wide receiver, so
right.
That's normally not, and you're 5'8",
right,
and it's just kind of finding that balance of when you're dealing with all of that to keep everybody happy. And
the thing we talk about, like with recruiting, like oftentimes it takes a conversation in a situation to really dictate, okay, you say you want to go D1. Okay, so tell me, what do you really want? Like, is just D1 a bust, or you just want an opportunity to play college football for free? And when you have those conversations with them, it allows you to kind of break it down even more to where it may be something, not say more attainable, but something that they can have control over, because it opens up a wide, everybody, I talk to a conversation with my kids now, it's kind of like a tagline, kind of like culture. Everybody wants to say, I want to go D1, I want to go D1. Okay, I understand that, that's fine, but why? Why? Like, exactly, what about D1? Tell me, and then if they can't really articulate it, okay, well, let's break it down. What are you trying to look for? Because if you just want to go to play college ball for free, there's a lot of opportunities that you can go to. So, no, I get that, and the thing that we try to do here is try to get as many tangible goals that they can get by their will set. You understand what I'm saying? Things that they can control, and it's okay to have dreams and things like that. And I'm not going to tell a kid he can't, but I want to make sure that, like you said, we put it plainly. Okay, here's the things that you're going to have to do in order for that to happen. Yeah. And if it doesn't happen, okay, then what ultimately do you want? And let's see how we can get that taken care of.
Well, and it's one of those college coaches I was talking to the other day in the recruiting stuff had mentioned, and it was good advice. He goes, we encourage the kids to go to 3 different levels of showcase kind of camps. Mm-hmm. He said, go to one that you think you're better than the other, going to be better than the other kids at that school. Go to one that you think is a level you can play at, and then go to one that's a level above you. He said, you'll find out real quick where you stand compared to the best of the best, compared to the ones you think you're as good at. And, and he said, go to the ones, that time the 40, do this, do that. He goes, and you'll figure out real quick. He said, you'll either be humbled or you'll be excited because you're as good as you thought,
We used to tell the young kids, and in the freshman year, and maybe your sophomore year too, you can pick your dream school. Once you get to, depending on if you're playing time and things like that, once you get to your going into your junior year, and especially going into your senior year, and now that with the recruiting calendar, that just really has been accelerated a little bit. Now you want to start going to the camps of coaches that have contacted you, that you've talked to, that have come out during spring evaluation, because you want to make sure that your money, the resources that you put to go to these camps, and the effort that you put into participate in these camps is going to grant you a return.
Right.
And so your freshman year, hey, go have at it. 8th grade, hey, going into your sophomore year. Hey, from your sophomore year to your junior year, you start, coaches come up, introduce themselves, things like that, and you start getting your feel from a height, weight, athletic standpoint, and at the end of the day, if your goal is to get your school paid for free, everybody is not hustling to a D2 camp. So if you can go there and have a great time, you're going to stand out and show interest. Those coaches are going to want to come and recruit you early, because everybody's not showing interest to a D2 school. You know? And so now that sets you higher on somebody's recruiting board, or that may be what separates you from somebody else who's equals, because you've actually shown interest. So you may get that school that Angelo State offer earlier. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Instead of being somebody waiting to the last minute, and wondering if A&M's going to offer them and they don't get it, and all of a sudden you want to talk to Angelo State. So it's kind of a business and a game in regards to, making sure that you control the narrative and then take advantage of those opportunities while they're there, and be the first ones to take advantage of it.
Well, and you mentioned something good in there that I really don't think a lot of parents pay attention to, and that is return on your investment.
Yes.
My gosh, when you start looking at all of the select league stuff where people are going to pay thousands and thousands. I know, but I love to bring it up because there's so many parents I'd love to say, I told you so. Yeah. Not only you're burning them out, but you just paid twice as much money for your kid to go to a D3 with no athletic scholarships. Right. Plus what you spent on the camps, you could have already paid for their 4 years of school.
I have friends that do the training. I got buddies of mine that do the 7-on. We got kids that play. My thing is, I try to tell them is, at certain times of your year, you have to make sure what you're doing is granting you the return that you're looking for. And 7-on, we've had tremendous success with kids participating in it. They give them, another season of going and kind of, especially our skilled kids, receivers and DBs, just real live reps, of covering and things like that that we allow them to do. Some of our quarterbacks have done it, but some situations can set up to get you some bad habits. But one, it doesn't interfere with school athletics. That's the first thing that I always tell them. And then the second thing is that, okay, if you're paying money, don't put yourself out of it, because the relationships that some of those guys have may help. They may call a coach and say, hey, I got this kid, which I 100% know and am cool with, but they're not sending 7-on-7 film saying, hey, recruit this linebacker, because, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because he can drop hook curl on film and 7-on-7.
And so, and even at receiver, it's different when those bullets are flying. Like, I can go up there and snag a ball over the middle. If I know I'm not going to get hit, that's easy. So, you can see athletic ability, you can see ball skills, things like that. But when those lights on and those bullets start flying, then that's when you can kind of separate the stuff and say, okay, this is what I'm actually recruiting. So, but no, I agree. We have recruiting agencies that's out there now charging kids. And what I try to tell my parents is we're a school where you don't have to do that. And so I know some schools, from resources aspect of it, relationships aspect of it, you may have to get a recruiting agency. So I don't like to knock it. We're just, as long as I'm at a school, it's never going to have to be like that. It's just, I've been doing recruiting since 2010. So if there's not a coach, a school, I don't know a coach, I know somebody that does. And we do a pretty good job of talking about recruiting from 7th grade on.
And that's what most of those college coaches I talked to said the same thing. They said, we never look at recruiting services. We want to hear what the coach says.
Yeah. And so, getting film out, with Huddle now, kids have the ability, but, I get it. I never want to knock somebody's hustle, but at the same time, here, what we try to do is we try to be the experts.
Well, you are.
Yeah.
You're the one with them day in, day out. You know their work ethic. You know their attitude.
But even the experts on recruiting.
Oh, I got you.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's the niche that a lot of these guys get.
But how can a person be an expert on recruiting unless maybe – because who's more expert than the coaches working with them?
I agree, but, you're talking about the same parent who feels like, the Little League coach is more – knowledgeable about 6A football than the guy that's standing on the sideline. You know what I'm saying? So, it's all about perception is reality. Sometimes you have parents that never played, so they don't really understand as well. And now with social media and internet, that's where 90% of their information is coming from. Social media is sensationalized. It's highlighted. They really don't see the process. Twitter and Instagram doesn't show process. They show result, or they show the initial part. They show you the highlights. They don't show you the whole movie. And so people get enamored with the highlights and think that that's what it looks like. And that's not reality, And so you get that. You have to control the narrative in your building with your kids and with your parents to where they have trust in you, where they can come to you, because you're initiating that conversation, you're offering information, and so they know, like, okay, well, if he's doing that, then I can come to him and talk about it. So that's the reason why we talk about recruiting, like I said, from the time the kids in 7th grade all the way up. By the time they get here as a junior, like, they understand about the GPA, they understand about the process, the board, the recruiting schedule, transfer portal, everything, and now, we're starting to discuss NIL, things like that.
Okay, so, and I had no idea that NIL was even filtering down to high school level until I was at, Randy Jackson?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was at Randy's clinic, this Fast and Wide clinic up north, North Texas here a couple months ago, and one of the coaches from the other states was talking about how they're teaching NIL to the high school kids in high school, and I was like, high school? What? It blew my mind. I didn't.
You have to one, because in other states they're allowed to get NIL. That's the first thing.
That was what blew my mind.
Texas is going to be soon. It's coming soon. Yeah, I think what our legislation, especially our Texas High School Coaches Association, is doing is trying to partner up to make sure that when it is released, that it's done in the right way.
Not like the NCAA.
Right. And that's basically what it is, like the anti-NCAA. So I think eventually it will be, but even before it does, the last 3 years of recruiting has been different with me because, like, I'm actually talking money with coaches. I remember the first time I did it, like, I called my wife and I was like, I can't believe, like, I'm looking around, looking where the cameras or the microphone, and so. But I mean, and even coaches coming in asking, hey, if you got kids looking to transfer, hey, we're paying for X back, we're paying for this, and so we've been blessed to have kids sign with schools that are doing NIL, and so you try to educate the opportunity first of all, because before you used to talk to your kids about their opportunity to go to college. The benefit of going to college from a financial standpoint was you get a chance to go to school, get your school paid for.
Yeah.
And then you talked about possibly being able to maximize your earning potential playing football in the league. It was a possibility. Now it's a reality in regards to earning potential because your earning potential starts as soon as you enter your freshman year. You understand what I'm saying? With NIL and now with the new legislation that I just seen something recently with Georgia that they actually posted exactly what they're going to pay each athlete.
Oh, okay.
Almost like their salary, what they're going to pay each athlete. NIL still is going to be a part of it, but now with basically revenue share, what you're going to start getting, you're going to get like a salary cap. You're going to get kids getting salaries.
Okay. That's what Coach Wager at TCU was talking about. He said each school has like $23 million or whatever it was to be spread out amongst all the athletes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what you're saying now is Georgia has come out and said.
Georgia's come out and said, hey, we're going to pay, I want to say football, and it was like 175. Everybody was going to get 175 grand a year. God,
that's crazy.
And so the thing with that is you have to start educating parents early on, but the difficult part with that now, and I'll probably open up Pandora's box with this, is that now that conversation about Johnny not playing is a little bit more difficult now because now there's a quantifiable number that the parent feels like that Johnny's missing out on because of their lack of playing time. The parents who are looking at playing football or playing a sport as a potential revenue source for their family going into college. So now it's not the opportunity to get a free education, it's the opportunity to make 125, 150 grand a year.
Oh my gosh.
So
that's just so weird.
Right. So now instead of saying, hey, here's the habits we're going to have to be successful, it's going to be very important, the relationships. And you're going to have some parents that get it because everybody can't play. But you have the parent who is looking at how to maximize that for their kid instead of looking at the true value of getting an education and going through that. Those conversations are going to be had, and your son is a running back and he plays the other one plays running back, and okay, well, why my son is not getting me, he could be getting extra to help him get X, Y, and Z where he's at.
Yeah.
So in that aspect, you're really going to have to become the expert in recruiting so you can explain exactly that, hey, if your son is a 4-star, numbers help, but, he's going to be a 4-star with 500 yards. He's going to be a 4-star with 1,000 yards because of the attributes in which they look at in recruiting. You know what I'm saying? So it's something that I'll see coming pretty soon.
Golly, it's just so weird to think about, but that's exactly what the other ones were talking about too. They said it's coming.
It's coming. I mean, it's one of those things where I remember when this was coming out with NIL, and I told a buddy of mine, and he's a DC now at LSU, and I said, hey, as soon you guys are gonna have to follow NFL model. You guys are gonna have to get a scouting department like the NFL, because with transfer portal, first of all, you have coaches that recruit, and then they started hiring GAs to look at film of high school kids. But now you're going to have to monitor not just the high school kids, but portal. And the way that the NFL does it is there's scouts that look at the college kids, but then there's a group of scouts that look at advanced scouting, the teams that they're going to play before. There are scouts that look at other potential free agents for next year, for the season, and they create their list on that. So that way when free agency opens up, teams automatically know who they want to go after. They already have them on the board. They know who they're going for. The same thing is going to happen for colleges. You're going to have an advanced scouting to where, okay, here's a kid that signed with Georgia. Here's a kid that signed with Alabama. Here's a kid that signed with Florida. Okay, we recruited him where he was on that board. Okay, what is the chances of that kid after next year going into the portal? So we're going to have to keep him on a board. Is he playing a lot? Is he not playing a lot?
Yeah.
Hey, is this 5-star kid not playing a lot? Hey, that increases his chances of going to portal. Okay, we got to prepare. Oh, he is playing a lot, but not playing as much as he wants to. Like, you're going to have a whole segment. So that's why you start to see that department and general managers and player personnel directors and stuff like that, that position grow into college because that's all they're doing. They're managing the roster. And now with the amount of influx going in and influx going out, it's almost like having free agency every year in the NFL. And college coaches are not adapt to that.
Yeah.
You know,
they're having to recruit. One of the coaches had told me, he said, we're having to recruit our own players every year.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's tough. You know, and I think that's why I think, you know, for the brand of college football, they're going to have, somebody's going to have to step in and say, look, here's the rules, you know, because here's from a business side. Anytime you have capitalism without any rules, the money's always going to win. Always.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break and hear a word from our sponsor, and that is Coach Randy Jackson.
If you're training your athletes for strength, speed, and technique, you're just keeping up with everyone else. The real edge today is in mental performance. My name is Randy Jackson, and with 33 years of experience, I understand the messaging athletes need, both in season and off season. This is why I created the Blueprint, a plug-and-play system where I serve as your team's virtual mental performance coach. Unlike traditional character programs, the Blueprint delivers mental training that empowers your athletes to think sharper and perform better. Every Division I and pro team trains the mental game. Let me be that coach for your team and give your athletes the competitive edge they need. Join the Blueprint family and help us develop the next generation of mentally tough athletes. Learn more about the Blueprint on CoachRandyJackson.com or call or text me at 214-471-0070.
Okay, well, let's move on because otherwise I can sit there and talk about that stuff.
Yeah, I care too, man. Yeah, trust me.
All right. Well, tell me, what's your most memorable moment or moments maybe in coaching? Some moments that really stand out to you.
In coaching?
Yep. And now you've got a background in all of it, so.
Yeah. God, you know, I first started, I was at A-Leaf Taylor in the area where I'm from. And, you know, we had a great staff at A-Leaf Taylor. And I think early on, being there and having like one of the first staffs, I really didn't appreciate kind of how I just felt like all coaches were like that. You know, I was there. Yeah, Mike Bungalow, who's the head coach at May Creek now, was on that staff. You had Brian Randall, who's the head coach at Randall High School. They just won state, was on that staff. You had Jay Jensen, who is the assistant AD at Katy ISD's on that staff. You had John Lanza, who's a co-DC at Cinco Ranch. Like, we had some guys, man, on that staff. And so just early on, you know, of all of us kind of going to work, the area that we're in is a Title I district, not the school. The whole district is Title I. And oftentimes when you have a district like that, there are some expectations that people may not have of you. In regards to the efficiency and how we work, the kids being coached up. You know, there's some stereotypes that you have coming through that. And I took a lot of pride in the culture that we created there and the success that we had, and not just in football, but in all sports there. It was a little personal because I was from that area. You know, I was one of those kids, grew up in the same, you know, neighborhoods and stuff like that. And so to be a part of that was pretty cool. And, you know, I'll rep that area to the day I die. You know, I take pride in being an A-Leaf kid. And so I think that was one of the cool things about it, you know. And then coming here, I didn't know anything about Conroe at all. And I had a buddy of mine that I played with at U of H that lived in the area, but for 2 years was telling me about the team and telling me about the school and telling me about, what he felt like they needed. And when the job came open, he had reached out to me and I applied. And it's been the best. It was the scariest decision I made, but it was the best thing that could have happened, man. Like, it truly solidified my faith in regards to, when God is at work and when he puts you in a place, you know what it's meant to be. And I honestly feel that. And the people I get a chance to work for, our building leader, our principal, Dr. Ratasha Smith, my coaching staff, my assistant coordinators, like my secretary, my head trainer, like I can go on and on, custodial staff, like I don't mind. I live 60 miles away. I drive 60 miles to work every day and I've done it for 7 years. And I've had opportunities to look in other places that were closer, and I really value the people that are here, and so it's going to take a lot, because that's just how special this place is. And so I think being here, it's been fun, man. It's hard. It's a lot of work, 7 years, but to kind of see the growth and the respect now, and kind of see, not just from football, but I feel like school-wide. Just the pride, and like you say, your wife is a Conroe grad, so oftentimes as a coach, you don't get a chance to work in a place that has the history that this place has. Like, it's over 120 years old. We have people who have season tickets, left in their will. I have people that have had season tickets since like 68. It's people that have season tickets, I've been told, in a divorce decree. And so like to have that mean that much, when you have success, it means a lot, because you're really affecting a lot of people, and there's a lot of people that take pride in what you do. So that's probably been the highlight so far.
Now were you here, or I think it might have been right before then you took over then, because I interviewed a guy named Michael Hurd, who wrote a book called Thursday Night Lights on the history of all the black high schools in Texas, and he. In his book, great guy. If you've never met him, he lives right down the road in the Woodlands. Okay. But just a great guy, and he was a Houston guy. He went to school with Cliff Branch. Okay, yeah. And I think he was at Houston, maybe Yates or one of those. But anyway, he had said in his book, he talked about Conroe went back and but I think it was a few years before you, and recognized all the players that were. But you weren't here then, were you?
No, I think it happened about 2 years before I got here.
Okay.
But I've met a couple of those players. As a matter of fact, the coach, what they recognized, I have a shirt, was a 68, I think it was 68 or 65 Washington high school team.
Yeah, they won it like 2 or 3 years out of a 5-year period or something. Really awesome team.
And the head coach is a guy named Charles Brown, who I still talk to probably once a month. I met my first year I got hired here. And
does he come to all the games?
No, he doesn't. And he has a ranch out close to this area, but then he lives in Houston Heights area, but always want to talk ball. When I first got here, his wife was still living at the time, and just to get a chance to meet them.
Oh, I bet that was cool.
It was real cool because, he remember and tell stories about, there's a time where this stadium that we play in, that they couldn't watch games in there. Like, he still remember having to stand outside the fence of the stadium and watch games. And his team, I want to say the 68 team, was the first team, black kids and coach to play in the stadium. The city allowed it. And, they won that game. And he said he remembered walking off the field feeling how grateful he was, but the importance of winning that game. And, he looked at me and he was just like, you are, not a representative, but you are a result of that. And that hit me more than anything since I've been in coaching, the relationship with him, and allowed me to realize how many people, black and white, sacrifice for an opportunity for me. And so every time I'm on the sideline, I try to represent him
That's cool.
in a right way. I think I read excerpts of that book to the point where even in segregation, he was having success, and some people in the community was like, "Hey, why don't we get him to come over?" And
That's
coach.
exactly what they were saying. Because I remember him saying two of the football players here passed him on the sidewalk, or something said, "We need that. We need him to coach."
Why don't we come coach the Conroe? So I mean, it's a lot of stories, and it, more importantly, like I said, it just shows, we're in a day of age where a lot of history is not being taught. We're in a day of age where a lot of stories like that aren't being told for numerous reasons, but the benefit of the appreciation, I think, goes beyond who you are ethically. I think everybody can learn from and can appreciate somebody going through a trial like that and overcoming it and learning, how to handle yourself and that it can work out.
Yeah.
And so it's sad. And so I try every time that I get to make sure that, those stories and those examples still live on. So I appreciate you bringing it up. Yeah, that means a lot.
Heck yeah! I tell you, that was one of my funnest visits. I went and had breakfast with Mr. Hurd that morning. And I mean, he was a Navy veteran.
Yep.
He was he worked for a paper in Los Angeles when Magic Johnson and those guys were there. So I mean, just really good stories. Just sitting there talking to him and stuff. But that book opened up so many, a new world for me, because I didn't know anything about that era of high school football or anything else. And so just the history of it. I'm a history buff anyway.
Yeah, I mean, there's pictures, man. I mean, that league, that PV league, I mean, their state championship, they would play at PV. I mean, there have been pictures, man, and you're talking about like 65,000 in the stands. Like, it's huge,
Oh, yeah.
Just a lot of people, that come in. There's a lot of great coaches. And even, talking to Coach Brown, from a schematic standpoint, football wise, I mean, a lot of those coaches were ahead of the curve in regards to what they were doing.
Especially
the spread,
throwing the ball.
That's what I'm saying, the spread offense and things like that. I remember Coach Brown told me a quick story, and that whenever they decided to integrate UIL in the PV League, how there were actually meetings that were done in Houston of high school coaches, because they had to meet to figure out how are we going to defend. Now we have to play against these guys. How are we going to defend, these guys, and the schemes that they have. And, he was running a audible system back then, even when they won that championship game, like he was telling me, And so, like I said, I'm very blessed to have and continue to have an opportunity to talk to him, and he just want to talk ball. That's it. When I call him, he want to talk practice and want to talk ball, and how do I teach my receivers and my coaches, and how I need to tell my kids.
It's in the blood. I mean,
that's it. And I love it, man. I love it. I'll sit there and listen, and I know you got to go, and he'll stay on the phone for another 30 minutes, man. So no, I appreciate it. No, it was good.
That is cool.
Yep.
Yeah, I was thinking about that when I was coming to Conroe, because that's the whole opening of the book.
Yeah,
Conroe's the whole first section. And, of course, my wife loved it when she was reading about all of that, because she saw some names. She saw some names in there that she recognized because she knew family members down the road.
Yep.
And so, but okay. Okay, let's take a quick break and hear a word from Coach Index. At some point in our lives, we've all been in need of a tutor, private coach, or fine arts instructor of some kind, and we would have to make a bunch of phone calls to find one. Coach Index has created a database of private instructors of all kinds to make it easier for parents to find the help their son or daughter needs. If you're an instructor of any kind, you can register for free at coachindex.net. Instructors don't pay for anything to be a part of the network. Parents can do a search, and if instructors are found in their area, they pay a very small fee for full access to the entire database of coaches and instructors for a set period of time. Whether you're looking for a math tutor, help with your pitching, or a French horn instructor, coachindex.net is the place to go. Right now, we're still trying to fill up the database with instructors, so please help us spread the word about Coach Index. The website, once again, is coachindex.net. And now back to your episode. What's the most unusual or strange situation you've encountered as a coach?
Oh, wow. Most unusual, strange situation.
I may be the only one that had some really weird things happen.
No, you're not. I guess but here's it. Like when you sit in this seat, especially as a coordinator, like, and I just had my coordinators meeting today. We share things, and once you feel like Lord is like really, it's something else that'll come in and top it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
God, man, that's a tough one because now when things happen, the unexpected is expected. Does that make sense? Like,
right.
like you know what I'm saying?
Nothing surprises you anymore.
You know, nothing surprises you anymore. You know, we've had situations, especially with construction, where we've had some weird things. You know, with construction. I'll take this here. I think COVID was for me a whole different world. And I think that it really made me appreciate like how important it is fellowship, like having the kids together, having the coaching staff together. You know, we probably had our worst season. One of our worst seasons other than our first seasons during that time. And I attribute it to we weren't practicing and doing things like our habits were. Even from a staff, we had to meet via Zoom. The kids came in, you know, and we didn't have that connectivity that you would have normally being in the locker room, you know, being around each other. I have a picture, it's in my office at my house of us walking down arm in arm like that.
Oh, yeah.
But all my kids had the mask on, you know, where we're on the side about to do the national anthem. I can't even stand
seeing those pictures with the mask anymore.
With the mask up, you know, around our face. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so it's a reminder for me. It seems like it was just yesterday, but I think somebody told me it was like 5 years ago now, 4 years ago, something like that. But just where we were at the time, and still we found ways to come through it. So I would say for me, coaching, that was weird, man. And trying to navigate that, and you know, somebody test positive, and then going back and tracing, and like we were doing some things even from a travel standpoint, trying to make sure kids didn't sit by each other. You know,
that was some weird stuff.
Yeah, it was weird. You know, because you know back then, if a kid tests positive, and you were in that proximity, everybody had to quarantine. So you had to be smart. You couldn't have an entire position group together because if one kid, say if one O-line tests positive, your entire O-line had to quarantine. So even traveling, like we had to we put starters with backups, O-line with skill. Like we had to separate it, and we were very strategic because, okay, if you test, okay, if another kid has to quarantine, we can't have two of the same position. So it was bad, man. I mean, the things that we had to go through just because of the rules that were set, you know, it was difficult, you know. So yeah, I would say that would be the most weird I had to go through.
Yeah, so but you didn't. So I tell people this all the time. My weird stuff was like a lady showed up in a wig on a sideline at one of my games trying to find me and get a hold of me because she swore up and down I was her ex-husband.
Oh wow!
Oh yeah, no, police had to escort her out, and I'm like, I've never lived in Oklahoma. I don't know what. Yeah, so you know, I was wondering if you had anything like that.
Oh man, no man. Now I'm glad I spoke first because after that, I don't know how I would be able to top that one, man. Yeah, no, I'm glad I went first.
Okay. What's the most important life lesson you want your athletes to learn from playing for you and your program?
One, I think that you're a product of your habits and what you do every day. I think that's the first thing is two. And then, I mean, that's the first one. The second one is faith. In every aspect of it that you in order to be successful, you got to just have faith. And faith in yourself, faith in the dreams that you have, faith in your ability to overcome. Because now in society, everybody wants to guarantee. You know, a lot of kids don't want to play unless they know they're going to start, or, you know, but when you get out in the real world, that's not how it's situated. You know, a lot of your decisions that you make, initially you don't have a guarantee. You know, all you have is your hopes and your dreams and your faith. And so we talk about that a lot. Of being a product of your habits and then making sure that you carry on. You got to have faith in what you do. And so that's the two things I would hope.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. What's the best advice you can give a young coach or one just entering the profession?
One, the best idea for coaching is that you have to care about your kids more than you care about the job. And once you do that, then you set yourself up for success. If you get into coaching because you think it's an extension of you playing or it's a way for you to get your competitive edge through, then you would never reach your full capacity or your full capabilities of being a coach. You would never reach your kids to the point that you need to reach your kids and the decisions that you make, and it's going to show. Your kids never reach their full capacity. You have to care about your kids more than you care about the sport. And when you do that, then you'll be able to connect the decisions that you make. Everything that you do will fall in line with success to your ceiling. You know, I'm not saying there's coaches out there that don't have success that are like that, but they're not reaching nowhere near the ceiling that they could be if it was flipped. So that's my number one advice.
Okay, good. Okay, all right, let's go to the rapid fire questions.
Okay.
What's your favorite pass route?
Oh, wow. I'm a DB guy, so it's tough.
What's the one you like defending the least?
Probably a combination. So probably a switch route. I can't stand switch routes, yeah. Switch or scissors. Really probably scissors if we're in a cover four.
Okay, and that was one of the offensive guys' favorite pass routes was the scissors.
Yeah, scissors is a problem.
Okay.
You got to teach it.
All right, what's your favorite run play?
Inside zone. Yep. Inside zone read. I'm big on quarterback read game. Yeah.
All right.
Now just give it. Let's read it.
Do y'all do anything where you pull that backside H back in case quarterback pulls it?
We can. Yeah. We can, depending on formation and what we do, and depending on what we have, because sometimes that H-backer can bring that safety around and have that extra body in the box. So sometimes we'll false key it. We'll pull them opposite in what we're going and send the safety opposite. But I'm huge on quarterback run game or the threat of.
Yeah.
You know, so yes, I would say inside zone.
Okay. Do you have a hair policy with your kids?
No.
Okay.
No.
Heads or tails on coin flip?
Heads.
Do you like to go offense or defense if you win the flip?
Defense. Just because I like to kick it, pin him, and flip it, and then.
When you're a DB coach, you said, so you're a defensive guy.
Well,
yeah.
from a what do you call it when you get your numbers and my mind's going blank now.
I'm rubbing off on you.
Yeah, no. But from the data that you get and your efficiency,
statistics.
When field position, starting field position has a true indicator in regards to scoring success, and now with pooch kicking and fair catch and all that type of stuff. Normally you would start anywhere on a 30. If I can kick off to you and then have you go 3 and out and then have you punt back to me, or unless you just have a crazy kicker, my field position is starting off on the offense is going to be better than if we started off on a normal kickoff.
Okay.
Plus, analytics, that's the word.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Plus, if I know I'm going to get the ball back at the half, I can steal a possession to where I can manipulate the end of the second quarter, or I can have the ball at the end of the second quarter, plus get the ball back at the end of the third.
So this is your businessman coming out here. You're analyzing.
Yeah. And it's help. It's help. And I try to tell my coaches at OC that they get mad. Hey, man, let's get them. So, okay, defense is pretty good, but we can flip, start it, go score. But the end of, I've gotten this looking at, breaking up situational football. If I can manipulate and have the possession at the end of the half and then also get it at the end of the half, now that takes a possession away. And so, like, we were in a playoff game this year, and we did that. They were on offense. We went down, called timeout, had them 4th down. They had a punt. We had the ball with about 2 minutes and 40 seconds left to go. We were getting the ball in the beginning of the second half, and I think we were up by 3. We would go down. I was just okay with a field goal. Went down there, scored, right? Before the end of the half, with maybe 20 seconds left to go, was up by 10, got the ball back at the end of the half, started the first half, went down there, scored again, and was up 17. And they never was on offense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, that's the way I kind of look at it. So, I'm sorry.
No. I tell you, that's the business side of it. You're analyzing every little thing. I was just like, I want to score first, so give me the ball.
Yeah. That's how my guys know me think, like, hey, let's score first. Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Do you give a pregame speech or no?
Yes.
Okay. Favorite quote?
Adapt or Die is one of my favorite ones. My mom used to always tell me your message is only good as it's received.
Oh, yeah. That's good.
So.
Wise woman, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She raised 4 boys, so yeah.
Tough woman then, too.
Yeah.
Music in the weight room?
Yes. Yes.
Do y'all have like specific kind of music or certain days for different things? Or?
I'm normally on the aux. We're my kids like hip hop, all of them. I try to mix it up. I'm a closet DJ, and so I have a mix track at home with about a terabyte worth of crates and music and stuff. So yeah, I'm a big guitar riff guy, and so I've put on and gone up there and put just straight guitar riffs during like flex time and get them going. Oldies guy, I try to get them to understand old hip hop, because this new stuff is
respect for the originals.
Yeah. And I've put Peter Gabriel on at one time back in the day. I try to broaden her horizon. We came on, we had Tejano music on one day. The kids loved it. You know what I'm saying? And so, but yeah, we're big in music here, but majority of the time it's hip hop.
Okay.
Yeah.
Varsity player in the band, do you let him march at halftime? Or do you have that issue?
Yeah, we've had it. Depends on who the kid is. This particular situation, no. Unless he wasn't going to play in the second half because of we're just out or whatever like that. But no, we don't. Just because, or if the kid was a starter, no. Now, if the kid was a backup, wasn't going to play that much, and I know that's what he does, then we've allowed it.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I had a starting right guard that was in the band, and I'm like, no. Yeah. I need you to rest, get off your feet, get the adjustments now. So no.
Yeah. Okay. Are you able to two-platoon your kids, or do you have some that play both ways?
We had some that play both ways, but I mean our numbers are pretty high. Where we don't have it as much. It's something I would like to do better at because I think that we could do a better job of maximizing, especially our athletes. I think from a practice structure, just making sure that they're getting the best of both. And so that's something that we're looking at moving on this year. But yeah.
Okay. What's the coolest facility you've ever played in or coached in?
Stadium wise,
yeah.
The facility coached in, we played at NRG. That was pretty cool. Just just from an experience standpoint. Stadium wise, right now, from a game day atmosphere, Thorne Stadium right now, they just revitalized it, and hands down.
Which one?
Thorne Stadium in Aldine.
Oh, okay.
Coach Dre has done a tremendous job over there with that stadium. We played our first round last year. But from the game day experience, it's the closest thing you're going to get like college football, as you can think, from the LED lights to the music that they play. Like, I think our kids, it was the team that we were playing, their home stadium that they play in. I think our kids were more hyped in playing that stadium pregame and just how they do everything. I mean, you run out, the lights flash like you're in Alabama.
Yeah.
The music that's playing
cool.
pregame. When you score touchdowns, like it's cool. And then just a setup. I mean, it's a nice. So I would say right now, Thorne Stadium is the best that we've had in Houston. Yeah.
Cool. I'm gonna have to try to make it over there and watch something.
Yep.
Okay. What would you do if you weren't a coach? Go back to business.
Yeah. That decision. I mean, probably so. Yeah, but I would be doing something, helping kids, man. Like I would have a business and make.
You could
money.
be a good agent. Because you know the business side of it. You know got some pro sport, college sport, all that kind of experience in it.
If I wasn't coaching, I would probably want to be like an AD. I think that's the next step for me.
Straight AD.
Is to be an AD. But I think that from a business side, I think there's so many opportunities that are out there now to try to find a niche with the landscape of way football is going now and just athletics in general.
Yeah.
And so I would probably find my way in doing that and trying to, help athletes navigate through this thing and parents.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What do you have a favorite pregame song?
Probably for me. You talking about for me or just for the kids? For me,
you.
Probably something Jay-Z. Yeah, I'm a huge Jay-Z fan. Yeah, that's my go-to. I can play other music, but when I'm kind of not and I need to get back a real line, yeah, I'll put anything on my playlist that I got from Jay-Z and I'm locked in.
All right.
Yeah.
Favorite football movie?
I was gonna say Remember the Titans.
I'm also going to ask you favorite sports movie overall. So maybe you might have two that are kind of football related.
The Remember the Titans, I think, is, I would say Remember the Titans. My favorite sports movie is funny because I just seen, what was having a part 2? Was that Lucky Gilmore, Happy Gilmore?
Is there a part 2 coming out?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. So
you can't get any better with Carl Weathers and his one arm that was eaten by the alligator.
That, and I wasn't even like a golf fan, but just like, I want to make sure I get it right. Yeah, Happy Gilmore. It's coming out, and I just saw the thing. It's coming out, I want to say, in July. So the part 2 is coming out in July. So yeah, so that one there.
Yeah, but I think Carl Weathers was a big part of the first one.
That and Major League.
Okay, yeah, that's a good one too.
Yeah, Major League is a classic.
I haven't seen that one in forever, though.
Yeah,
it doesn't come on that often.
That's
anymore.
a classic, man.
Okay, favorite movie quote?
Wow.
Yeah, this is deep here.
Yeah, man. Favorite movie quote? I don't know, man. Probably something Denzel. I don't know. Denzel got some one lines. Probably something from Denzel. Yeah.
Anything he's in is good.
Yeah.
Especially when he's going all killing everybody.
Yes.
You know, like Man on Fire.
Yeah, Man on Fire.
Or I just watched one of his the other day. Oh, Equalizer.
Yep.
Those movies. Those were really good.
His character in Training Day was crazy, man. Like,
I don't like it when he's like a bad guy though.
Yeah, so that's the part. That's the part because he's normally not like that.
No, I know. I don't like watching
when
him
he
in that
goes
role.
there. I'm like, he's acting there, man. Like, golly.
But
man.
when he's Man on Fire,
Yes,
that's
yes,
my favorite.
yeah,
when he just goes, "You took that little girl, okay? I'm gonna kill every stinking one of you."
Is that Equalizer where he's he taps his watch?
Yes.
Yeah. So
he's a little bit.
It's not.
What do you call it? Is it autistic? Or OCD? OCD. Yeah. Where he.
So probably not favorite quote, but that to me is one of the coldest. When he's sitting there talking, he looks and he's tapping his watch.
Yeah.
You know, and
How
he
many
starts to go,
seconds will it take
and
me
he
to-
clicks his watch off. That's not bad, but that's probably one of my favorite parts of a movie.
That is awesome.
When
That
he
is
taps his
good.
watch.
Okay. All right. Last thing.
No, yeah, you're good.
Let's see. We already talked a lot about. I think it was off mic. We were talking about the NIL and the transfer portal. In general, how do you feel about that stuff? You know, with these kids that are going into college now, how do you feel about the NIL and the transfer portal? Are they good things? Are they positives? Are they bad? They need to be revamped. What do you think?
I think like I said before, I think the opportunity for kids to make money off of their name, image, and likeness is a positive. I think that they should be able to, especially if the universities and the conferences are going to make money off of it. I think it's big for kids to be able to maximize, their earning potential when they can. The issue I have with that is that there are no rules set aside. Right. And I think I said this even before we got on air, is that, you know, when you have capitalism without rules, that money is always going to win. And it's going to win over the best decision. It's going to win over long-term benefits. It's going to win over anything, you know. And so, you know, I think what you're seeing now, I think rules need to be set aside to keep people from making decisions that's going to hurt them long term. And it's difficult, you know, when you have some kids that you're talking about $100,000 a year or $80,000 a year, and they get to maximize that each year. They're not looking at, okay, am I going to graduate at the end of my 4 years?
Right.
You know, because a lot of them, the only reason why they're going to college is to get an opportunity to maximize their earning potential in the league. So you tell a kid who doesn't, or, you know, it's a 2% chance you're going to go in the league and make money. So they're like, okay, I'm going to try to make as much money as I can right now. So you really can't be mad at them after their freshman year if they're making $80,000 and then XY University say, hey, we're going to pay you $120,000, that they leave and go try to pay $120,000. Okay, I'm making $120,000.
Yeah.
Okay, XY University say, hey, we're going to pay you $130,000. Okay, I'm leaving. And so people want kids to have this loyalty, but if adults in the same situation and you're working for XY company and this company calls you and going to double your salary, 90% of adults will leave as well, you know.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, and coaches
leave,
we
right?
do it all
so
the time.
I think you got to put stipulations in place so you don't put kids in positions to make decisions like that, because it's human nature. They're going to make those decisions.
Yeah.
Even kids that are okay and have money. You know, you get the one-offs like the Mannings and things like that where he really don't have to, so he can stay. But everybody's not like that.
Yeah.
You know, you take another kid from another family with the same skill set as a Manning, you can't ask him to just sit. Right. You know, because he's not going to get the earning potential like Manning is because of who his name is.
Right.
He's going to have to go earn that earning potential by what he does on the field, you know. And so I think that I just hope that somebody comes and puts rules in place to where kids can still make the money. I hope that universities invest in helping these kids early on, because it's difficult as a rookie in the league to manage money, manage expectations from a mental health aspect of it, you know, because now it's a business.
Yeah.
You know, now these kids, we're paying you this money, so if you don't produce, we're not paying you the following year. Or we're telling you, hey, you need to jump in the portal.
It's a lot of pressure.
It's a lot of pressure for a kid who may be taking care of his family with that, you know. And so that's the part I think I see moving down the line from a mental health standpoint is a lot of the horror stories, because now it's new. You know, so these kids are just now getting it. Okay, so but what is the ramifications of it 7 years down the line when Johnny's done, all the money's gone, there's no money, he didn't graduate. You know, because when these kids transfer, all their credits are not transferring. Yeah. You know, so you have some kids who are just transferring, losing credits, and just using that semester until they play to get eligible credit-wise just to be able to play. You know, and so their credit, or their credits accumulation is not adding up to the years they have eligibility-wise. You know, and so that aspect nobody's talking about because everybody's just seeing the benefits of the on and field. I think once you start seeing, I said NIL is kind of like Bitcoin in my opinion. Like everybody wants to put an investment in it early to try to get that quick return. But once you start getting the ROI on it, I think you're going to start seeing it balanced off. But not just
so you're
that.
using all those business terms.
My bad. Once you start seeing that, and once you start seeing just a return, and then once you start seeing, like you say, I mean, you got to start investing in the kid. You know, and maybe taking some of the money that you were going to just give to him and say, look, we're going to give this to you, but we're gonna help you protect yourself.
See, that's what I wish. I wish they had a savings. Right.
We're gonna put in a trust,
and when you graduate,
and then here's what you're gonna
X
get.
amount.
You know, and so or create a model that becomes the fad, because that's what it is now. To where this is the cool thing to do. As soon as somebody can do that, I think you'll start seeing the benefits of everything that we're getting. As soon as you get somebody who the kids look up to, who people listen to and say, look, I'm going to show you how you're going to make money, and I'm going to show you how you're going to, double your earning what you had. Take this $100,000, take 50, do what you want to do with it, have fun. Take 50, put it away. Okay, and this is what I'm going to show you. Once you're done playing, this is what I'm going to show how much more money you're going to have at the end. Yeah. And so when people start doing it and it becomes a copycat thing, then I think you'll start seeing that, okay, but I think that's the next step I feel like these universities need to have in place. Like the bigger schools, because once the bigger schools do it, then it's going to trickle down. Once the Texas, the Ohio States, the Oregons, the Michigans, the USCs, the money schools, once they start doing it, A&Ms, then everybody else is going to follow suit, and so that's my hoping.
So it's not a bad thing. It's just got to be revamped and reorganized and get some rules.
But it's tough, man. I mean, when you include money, it's going to make it tougher. And in this world of coaching, is not going to be for everybody. I mean, that's why you start to see these coaches get out. I mean, that's why Saban got out. It started being about money more than about the livelihood and of being a college athlete, and some guys are not
and especially the way everything now is so dang expensive. You can't blame them, like you said. You just can't blame them for, hey, we'll give you $100,000. 100,000? What? Yeah, that's more than that's 4 years of my first year's salary when I started coaching.
Yes, and you have some parents who don't make that. Yeah, and so they're pushing their kid. I mean, they're looking at Johnny as a opportunity to earn money now, change our lives. And so that's a lot of pressure, man. I mean, that's tough, and we're just now seeing it. Like I say, I pray that the bad stories aren't terrible to where it wakes people up and get them to realize, but I'm afraid you're going to start seeing, because early on of NFL and contracts and stuff like that, you start seeing some guys that, and it's a mental to have it all and then lose it, but then you still got the rest of your life in front of you. You know what I'm saying? So that's the part that I hope some things get put in place to where it's going to be very difficult for that kid to do that. You know what I'm saying? So, but we'll see. But you start seeing it trickle down even with, other sports. My daughter is signed and she's going to go play, but they talk about from the financial aspect of it. You already had cost of living stipend that was available. Yeah. So kids got an additional stipend to handle what they felt like the cost of living from your scholarship. And that wasn't a small number, you know? That's a pretty good size number. She'll be, fine and taken care of. So you add that on top of NIL, on top, it's good for the kids. Because I remember when I played, you were still trying to figure out, how you were going to eat and pay for gas and do different things. And, I feel like it's good. Yeah. But I just hope they make some rules on it. Yeah. Yep.
All right. Well, good deal. Well, hey, Coach, that's all the questions I've got there. I really appreciate you taking the time to visit with me. I've enjoyed talking to you.
Yeah.
I enjoyed talking to you off. We started getting into so much stuff off mic that you were talking about. I was like, crap, that's good stuff. And now I don't have it on the mic, though. But I really do appreciate you taking time to visit with me. Wish you the best of luck, too.
I appreciate the time. Anytime you're around, please come up. We'll get going pretty soon here with, like I said, with Phase 3. Tell your wife, once a Tiger, always a Tiger. So she's welcome to come up, and we'd love to have you up, especially during the season, come to the game. So.
Oh, yeah. No, we'll have to try to do that for sure.
Cool, man. I appreciate it.
All right. Well, thanks again, Coach.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed our visit with Coach Hardeman here at Conroe High School. My wife will be upset that I didn't go see the band director while I was here at her alma mater, but I was never musically inclined, so I'll have to pass on that. Now, it was good to meet Coach Hardeman, and I enjoyed making a new coaching friend and learning about his background and his coaching world. And next week, I'll be starting a new off-and-on series with some Texas legends of high school football. Let's just call it the Legends series. I'll be starting in Albany with Coach Denny Faith. That episode won't air until a day later than normal, so it'll be next Monday night instead of Sunday afternoon. Now, we'll be talking about all the goods, bads, highs, lows, and what it takes to be successful in Texas high school football, so I hope you can join us for those. But thanks again for joining us this week, and remember, if you're lost in Texas, just look for the lights.
I wear that red and white on a Friday night when my hometown takes the field. I say yes, sir, yes, ma'am, try to be the best man. That's how I feel. No matter where my heart runs, I remember where I came from. Still got that raised up pride, that small town pride.